What's going on, guys? It's your boy JD, and we're here. That was on stage. I met Dana White. This journey that I have been on for the past 4 years has been something truly remarkable. I failed. I didn't finish school. I was still living in my parents' house. We get into UFC 300. Let me explain to you guys who I am and my passion for the sport. What I am is a person that's willing to put myself out there and try new things. That's the concept of EVRNEWJOY. EVRNEWJOY is the ability to put yourself in a new experience, the ability to just be present in the moment and be aware that there's a connection beyond yourself with other people, with everything. And that ability and that connects with MMA for me in the sport. Just because, the ability for you to put yourself in that octagon, the kind of individual that has that mindset and the skills to put your life at risk, to pursue a dream, to wake up every single morning and run and train and do and not drink and not have a social life, and to sacrifice all these things to pursue a goal is something that I find super remarkable and so admirable in these fighters. And their stories have given me the inspiration to just move forward and try that concept and these implementations that these fighters use in my own life. You know, when it comes to just creating this, just pressing record for me has been the hardest thing. I created this video here. It's called The Ultimate Failure. From ultimate failure to triumph, which for me was that I failed. At that point in my life, I thought I was stuck. I failed. I didn't finish school. I was still living in my parents' house. In my later 20s, what's happening with my life? What direction am I going? I was drinking a lot. I was partying a lot. Didn't save any money. I didn't own a car. I didn't have any value, any wealth, any aspiration. I was just my health wasn't good. My eating habits weren't good. I just literally, I always say that my early 20s, I felt like I was dead. My spirit, I remember there was days where you would go through a breakup and I would just stay in bed and not want to get up and just eat and smoke and just go back to sleep. I didn't know what it was. I never attached the word depression to it, which later on, as you know, I've realized more about mental health. But at the same time, I realize now, as I'm older, that it was what I was putting into my body, how I was eating. And social media wasn't as prevalent as it is now and as embracive as it is now. Like, you're captured now. You can't put your phone down without an hour goes by and you're like, what happened? Ultimate failure, just means that I failed at everything and somehow I was able to continue. My perseverance, my dedication. I think these are things that just make me stand apart. And at that time, the UFC, the world stopped at that time. And pretty much the UFC continued to figure something out. They said, we're going to create a bubble. We're going to continue with the fights. We're going to move on. And they did. All the other leagues shut down, took a year off, took a couple months off just to figure it out. The NBA created the bubble after the UFC. But that kind of innovation, that kind of mindset pushed me. I grew up and I did like WWF at the time, wrestling, until I was maybe 11, and then was more into sports. But the passion and the ability of MMA just captured me. And that's what I realized. I was like, I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to learn how to write journalism, how to do everything correctly, put the work in. For a long time, I just wanted things easily. I wanted the shortcut. And that's youth, and I understand it. You feel like you're smarter than everyone, you know it all. No one can tell you what it is, what it's about. You got it all figured out. But as I get older, I realize I don't know anything. And I'm a student, and that is beautiful because I can ask questions, I can make mistakes, I can humbly ask for opinions and ask for critiques and put myself out there. And this is what this podcast is. EVRNEWJOY is just putting yourself and being in this state where I am right now. Look, I'm a student. I decided to pursue this full on 100%, and entering the sports industry and getting a career in that, it's really difficult. You know, right now I'm at the point where I'm trying to do a resume and cover letters and elevator pitches and sending things. I just sent an internship for the UFC, you know, which is my dream job, for the New York Rebels, and I just applied, but putting things out there. But to get to this point of manifestation, a couple years back, it was just a dream, and I had no clue, no idea. But I'm so glad that I got the ability to be introduced to MMA through a friend of mine. The way he kind of eloquently introduced it to me was more of a story, more of an art, as opposed to just fights. You know, it was more of an art. And then I looked at it through that perspective. It's a story. You know, there's a winner, there's a loser, there's an outcome, there's a beginning, there's an end, there's a middle. It's cinematic. It's wonderful, and every day is something new. So it aligns perfectly with my values of the ability to create content, create this atmosphere, this experience of putting myself out there and learning and recording it. So one day, hopefully, someone can learn from my mistakes, from my failures. And this is where we are today. You know, I just decided to press record. I don't know how good it will be, the first take, the second take, a year from now. But I do make this promise that I'm going to try, and I'm going to give it my all. I finally am confident and competent enough to be able to press record on the camera, put it on a tripod, edit it, record it, and put it up so you guys can see, and hopefully you like it and you're entertained and you can continue to grow on this journey.